Simpiwe is standing by.
Indeed, Pearl, thank you so much. And they just mentioned the question of the day that we are asking our viewers this morning. What are you doing, or how are you playing your part to preserve the environment? Well, this theme is central to today's event. Actually, it will be the launch of the National Science Week. It's a week-long celebration of anything engineering, anything science, mathematics, and of course, innovation. And every year, a different theme is selected for this particular event, and all the activities and events are central or are offered around this theme. And I'm now joined by the MEC for Education in the Northern Cape Province, Mr. MEC Jack. Very good morning to you, MEC. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Simpiwe, and welcome to your viewers.
Now, the Northern Cape is the first province, or rather is hosting this particular event for the very first time. What does it mean for you as MEC and as a province to be host of such an auspicious event?
In actual fact, Simpiwe, we are quite elated by the fact that our province is hosting this, precisely because we are trying to encourage, inspire and motivate our young kids in order for them really to see science as a way of living. Because if they don't understand science, then there's no future. That's why we are preparing them in order for them also to be combat ready for the fourth industrial revolution, which I believe that's the direction that the world is taking. And for us to be ready for that, as our Premier would always say, we're in the 21st century. We cannot live in the 20th century. Therefore, this is part of encouraging and arousing interest amongst our young kids.
I mean, just picking up on your point that you've mentioned that if there is no science, there's absolutely no future. I mean, for science to thrive, there has to be mechanisms in place. There has to be infrastructure in place. So we've seen infrastructure challenges in most schools in South Africa. So what are you doing in order to ensure that, you know, the culture of science, innovation, and technology thrives in schools?
In actual fact, this one comes at a time that I just landed last night from Durban, where we were having an engagement and workshop with the Minister of Basic Education, where we were saying there's a need for us to ensure that there's science laboratories, there's accommodation that is going to encourage our kids to find safety in our schools in order for them to exercise maximally their potential and intellectual capacity.
Yeah. So what do events like this play in the, what role do that play in the advancement of the fourth industrial revolution?
In actual fact, it prepares them for science, it prepares them for technology, it prepares them in order for them to ensure that as we plan, there's a shift from how we did things in the past and how we are going to do things, particularly on issues of innovation, as well as issues pertaining to creativity, analytical thinking, as well as scientific thinking. That is encouraged by this. And for you to participate in the fourth industrial revolution, you need to be very creative. Yeah.
And speaking of creativity, the Northern Cape is home to, the world-famous the square kilometre array, with one leg in South Africa and the other leg in Australia. I mean, this is by far the most innovative of all innovations, and of course the nexus of radio astronomy. So what kind of benefits have you reaped by hosting such an auspicious innovation?
By having the SKA alone, the schools around the SKA are getting attention, and they are also tapping on the skill that is there in terms of math, science and technology. We had a group that went to Uruguay a couple of months ago from a school there on robotics, and that to me tells you that people are moving away from humanities and they are starting to move into science, which to me is the future.
I mean, in terms of the technicalities, some of the students may see science as a very complex and technical subject and steer clear or shy away from it. So what are you doing to ensure, or to rather to encourage, that more students take up sciences as a medium of, of their livelihoods?
In actual fact, we are discouraging them to say life is not easy. So you need to tackle the most difficult subjects because they secure a better future. That's why we are also saying to them, maths to me, as I was a maths teacher before, is a basis for anything that goes to chronological thinking, analytical thinking, as well as innovation. And that is the direction that we need to take. Countries like Finland, they are concentrating on innovation. And if you don't have the basis of science, then innovation is compromised.
And science and maths is logic after all. So, it's very, very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is what I like. It encourages that. And particularly our kids. You see, I said to one of the high schools here, in order for you to make it in maths, we need to have a good foundation, and also you need to have the love for maths in order for you to be able to grasp maths better. But if you've got an attitude towards maths, there's no way that maths will love you.
MEC, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the time.
Okay, sure.
Education MEC for the Northern Cape Province, Mr. Mac Jacks, just speaking to us and laying the foundation as we will be launching the National Science Week for 2019. Your weather is up next.